As a beam of light moves through the darkness, the female practices pronouncing English sounds until she perfects the accent. At the same time, in the mountains of Scotland, a motorcyclist rides at top speed before stopping by a dangerous roadside. He climbs down into a pit and disappears for a few seconds, then comes back carrying the dead body of a woman and loads it into the back of a van. You're watching Cine Digest, and this is Movie Recapped. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome stories. Later, in a mysterious white space, the female takes the dead woman's clothes and puts them on, ready to begin her mission. There's an ant crawling on the corpse, and the female picks it up and stares at it for a moment. She then appears in a ruined building, steps outside to take the van, and the motorcyclist rides away. The female drives to the nearest mall to buy more clothes and makeup. After getting dressed, she cruises through the city, carefully watching all the men on the streets. Crowded places don't work, so she turns onto a quieter road and stops to talk to a man walking alone. She pretends she's lost and needs directions. The man helps her, and they chat for a bit. She seems interested in whether he has friends, and she leaves as soon as she hears he's about to meet someone else. This process repeats throughout the day. The female always pretends she needs directions to start a conversation, and if she hears that the police are nearby, she drives off without saying a word. When she finds lonely men with no friends or family, she offers them a ride. During the drive, she flirts with them until they agree to have sex with her. Then she takes them to another abandoned building and slowly starts undressing so the man keeps his eyes on her. The man rushes to undress and move toward her, but he falls into the trap and disappears into the ground. That's when we learn the female is an alien disguised as a human, hunting men and sending them as food to her planet. The dead woman from the beginning was also an alien hunter, and she had to be replaced after she died. As time goes on, the female continues her mission, driving around and picking up men who fit the criteria. One day, she reaches a beach and sees a couple and their baby playing on the sand, along with a man swimming alone. When the swimmer comes out of the water, she approaches him and asks the usual questions. Suddenly, a scream cuts through the moment. The wife jumps into the water to save a dog, but the waves are too strong and she can't swim well. Her husband goes in after her, but he also struggles, so the experienced swimmer jumps in to help. The alien stands at a distance, watching with no intention of helping. After a huge effort, the swimmer manages to bring the husband back to shore, but the husband goes back into the water looking for his wife, who's already been taken by the waves. The swimmer is exhausted and can't help again. The female approaches and watches him for a moment, then grabs a rock and smashes it over his head, knocking him out. As she drags him away, the abandoned baby keeps crying, but she completely ignores it. That night, as she loads the body into the van, the motorcyclist arrives and collects the swimmer's belongings. The baby is still there, crying, and still ignored. Later in the city, the female becomes more aware of the sound of children crying in different places, like a baby crying inside a car. While she's stopped at a traffic light, men in a car next to her shout crude and filthy comments at her. The female decides to follow them until their car stops near a building that looks abandoned. She gets out of the van and approaches the man, but she quickly has to retreat when a group of energetic women suddenly appear. It turns out the place is a club, not an abandoned building. The women notice she's alone, approach her, tell her they'll be her friends, and pull her inside. The female is confused and doesn't know how to react, so she doesn't resist. The club is loud and unbearably crowded, which overwhelms her. She uses the chaos to slip away from the group, weaving through the crowd until she reaches the back areas. She tries to find an exit, but instead of a door, she enters another room packed with even more people. The man who harassed her earlier is there and starts flirting with her again. She dances with him until he agrees to leave with her. As usual, she slowly undresses to keep his attention until he falls into the trap. The naked man finds himself floating in a dark void and sees one of the previous victims. His body looks strange, like it's been preserved in an unnatural way. They try to speak, but no sound comes out. They reach out and touch fingertips for a few seconds before the earlier victim drifts away. Suddenly, there's a loud popping sound, and the first victim explodes like a balloon, leaving only a collapsed skin behind. The victim's insides move along a conveyor belt toward a bright opening, and flashing lights signal that the food has reached the aliens. The next day, the female scans in a crowd. A boy hands her a flower and tells her it's from a man in a luxury car. When she places the flower on the seat next to her, she notices bloodstains and panics, realizing her hand is bleeding from the flower's thorns. On the radio, a news announcer reports that the husband's body has been found on the beach, while the wife and baby are still missing. People only noticed their disappearance when they didn't show up for work. The Coast Guard started searching, but had to stop because of heavy fog. The female is supposed to continue hunting, but instead she starts watching women and children. Eventually, she forces herself back into the mission and takes another man, this time with almost no flirting. The conversation is stiff and awkward, but she still brings him to the dark place. After that, the female is in a different dark room where the motorcyclist examines her closely, suspecting she's becoming too human. After observing her and finding no proof, he leaves. Later, the female is walking down the street, trips and falls, staying on the ground. People gather to help her up and ask questions to make sure she's okay, but she walks away without saying a word. As she walks, she begins seeing humans as individuals for the first time, with all their different ages, appearances, and emotions. At night, the female drives the van and spots a man walking alone, but she doesn't stop. Suddenly, another man appears at her window and talks to her, but she can't hear him over the sound of a passing train. A group of men suddenly surrounds the van and bangs on it, but she looks at them for a moment and drives away. Later, she sees a man with a disfigured face. She talks to him, asks for directions, and convinces him to get in the van. She tries to flirt, but it's much harder. She tells him his hands are beautiful and asks about his life. He tells her he shops late at night so people won't mock him and that he's lonely and has never been in a relationship. The female takes his hand, lets him touch her cheek and neck, and convinces him to go with her. In the abandoned building, the female tries to trap him, but she feels something is wrong. She takes off all her clothes and senses that something isn't right. Standing in front of a dirty mirror, she stares at herself. She hears a fly buzzing and realizes the man is still alive, so she leaves him and walks away. The man walks naked through the fields. The motorcyclist arrives, puts him in the car trunk and drives off, while a neighbor watches everything, frozen in fear. The next day, the female reaches a beach covered in thick fog. She walks and hears birds chirping and a man singing. She leaves the van and walks down an empty road. She enters a cafe and orders a slice of chocolate cake, tastes it, and spits it out. She rides a bus, gets off with a kind man who gives her a jacket, cooks for her, and watches comedy with her without her laughing. She listens to music and tries to imitate humans. At night, she looks in the mirror and discovers the shocking truth. Her body has no openings, just a suit. She runs into the rain. In the forest, a ranger tries to assault her. During the struggle, the human skin peels away. In the end, the ranger returns and burns her with gasoline. The female runs while burning until she collapses and dies. The motorcyclist watches from a hill as her body turns into ash and black smoke rising into the sky. And that's the end of today's movie. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Cine Digest for more amazing stories with Movie Recapped.